Yo, what the hell's up? Welcome back to Reviews with Jake, where I just got done watching Student Body. Student Body is the story about a group of private high schoolers who have a vendetta against a particularly stubborn and challenging math teacher. This vendetta eventually reaches the point of bloodshed. Another random ass entry in my catalog, but what can I say? Slim pickings. Which sucks considering next Friday there are 3 films I want to review, and it's also my girlfriend's birthday. Like, damn, can I get a break? The whole consistency thing on YouTube is kind of a kick in the pants, especially when it leads to me watching movies that, frankly, I don't want to watch. I watched the trailer for this film and I knew it could go one of 2 ways. One, it could be a really ridiculous, over-the-top, campy, fun slasher movie, or B, it could just be, well, a really bad B horror movie. Which one was I going to get? Well, it's Super Bowl weekend, so let's gamble. Well, let's start the pros with the sheer visual quality of this film, which is actually pretty surprising. This is actually a pretty damn well-directed film. It actually has some pretty good use of lights and shadows, good use of color, some slick cinematography with some really creative compositions, as well as some nice camera movements. Hell, they even threw a Hitchcock in there. I haven't seen that in a few years. I thought the visuals of this film were actually pretty strong, and you could tell that the director had a pretty keen eye. And very forward thinking. There were some pretty slick and stylish scene transitions that definitely required some methodical thinking and planning to execute. Transitions like this aren't just stumbled upon in the editing room. They're very methodically planned out, both visually and audibly. Some like Mike Flanagan leveled stuff. I appreciate stuff like this because so often, myself included, will go into a shoot and just be like, okay, well, we'll just shoot and figure out in post. Which can be fine. Sometimes you go into a shoot and you just don't have the luxury of being able to methodically plan everything out. Sometimes you just gotta fly by the seat of your pants. But to see stuff like this is that next level of filmmaking IQ. They went in with a game plan and they executed. I also want to give a shout out to Christian Camargo. I think I'm saying that name right. He's the guy that played, well, okay, I guess this is kind of a spoiler. I mean, it's from Dexter. It's 10 years old now, so I assume everyone's seen it, but let's just play it safe. He's in Dexter. But I dig the guy. He's got an aura to him, a weird strangeness to his vibe, and it fits perfectly with this character of the math teacher. Yes, it's a little extreme and over the top, but that's this character, and he embodies it perfectly. It's a really good character to have some fun with. It's kind of like any actor that gets the opportunity to play a priest who gets to do a sermon in church. Robert Pattinson in Devil All the Time, Hamish Linklater in Midnight Mass. A priest giving a very lively animated sermon is like the perfect opportunity for an actor or actress to just give it their all, just really chew up the scenery and soak up the set. Now, this teacher isn't quite that theatric, but in the same ballpark of that. It really just kind of asked for that insanity to be unleashed, and I felt like he did a good job of portraying that. However, that being said, while I thought that the performance was strong, the character he was playing a little less so. In fact, just about every character in this movie sucked. Let's start with our group of students, our so-called protagonists. All except for one, they're all pretty damn awful. They're spoiled, entitled, stupid, rather inept. I mean, they are really hard to root for, almost to the degree that you're actually cheering for the damn teacher. And even he's done to an extreme degree that you can't really get behind him. Like, everyone in this film is just inflated, that there's just no one to root for. There is just no one on either side of the polar opposites to latch onto, and this film really requires you to latch onto someone. This movie spends most of its 90-minute runtime focusing on the story, the characters, their dramas and relationships, instead of the kills, which I think it's safe to say we're all here to see. I cannot imagine the person that tunes into this story and this set of characters that actually gives a single damn about any of it. Like, who relates to this? It kind of reminded me of Wrong Turn last year, where the characters in that movie were just truly awful and I just did not like any of them. But at least that movie at least led to some satisfying kills. This movie did not. There isn't a kill until halfway through this movie, 45 minutes in, and even after that point, it's still kind of a sideshow to all the character drama. And the kills we do get, not that great. Most of the action happens off camera. We see the aftermath, which looks good, but everything happens outside of the frame. And the violence is actually pretty dull and not really creative. It's just a guy running around with a sledgehammer. I mean, nothing really original about that. If the violence and the thrills aren't carrying this movie, and certainly the bad character work and story aren't, then what is there to watch this movie for? It certainly wasn't for the soundtrack. My God, what the hell was this score? Most of it didn't even sound like music. It just felt like noise, like literal nails on a chalkboard. I have no idea what they were going for or what mood they were trying to convey, but I promise they didn't get it. And when the score actually sounded like actual music, they kind of broke into these random music video numbers, which felt really out of place tonally. This is all happening during the first 45 minutes when I'm just waiting for something to happen, but instead of watching these characters get murked, I'm seeing them dance around all hammered and whatnot. Yes, I realize I'm going on and on about how much these characters sucked, but they really did. I mean, just the way that they talked. I do not know if this is accurate, if this is how high schoolers are talking these days in 2022, but the shit they were saying was cringeworthy. Their jabs, their jokes, their ball busting, it was all really anatomical for some reason. It just did not really sound that natural. On the note of sounding natural, we once again have another film with dialogue with very poor audio quality. Just like Home Team last week, there are a lot of moments where it sounds great, the microphone's where it needs to be, and we're hearing it as we should. Other times it sounds like there's something covering the microphone, sounding a little muffled. Other times it kind of sounds hollow, like the shotgun mic that was aimed at it is a little off target. It was a combination of some poor miking along with some actor enunciations that just kind of sounded like people were mumbling and you couldn't understand what they were talking about, especially in key portions of the film. I watched this with my girlfriend, and at one point a character at a very pivotal moment says something, and we were both looked at each other and were like, what did she say? We rewind it, listen to it again. What? We rewind it again, listen to it again. I don't know and I don't care. One thing I wish I could say that I did not care about was the amount of suspension of disbelief that this movie requires you while watching. I mean, it is tough to get past. From the sheer fact that they break into a school at night to party and they're blasting colorful dance party lights in the window. Like, who does that and gets away with it? The fact that they are the only people in this massive building. It is dead silent, and two people in rooms right next to each other, one screams, the other person does not react to the scream whatsoever, like they didn't even hear it. The fact that they are getting chased by the killer. A girl falls and twists her ankle. Of course she does. And she just lays there while the villain approaches her. She just lays there and yells for help, not even like trying to crawl away, remotely escape. The fact that in one scene they're trying to barricade themselves in a room by pushing tables in front of the doors, but clearly just looking at the door frames, the doors swing open this way and not that way. Seriously, there are so many more that I could keep going. Maybe if the film was entertaining, I'd be able to overlook them, but the film is not fun at all. And for a film as meticulously planned as this was, with the cool transitions and the lighting and everything, to have so many glaring oversights is just kind of a bummer. All in all, this movie was not nearly enough kills and thrills and way too much annoying high schoolers casually referencing vaginas in their daily conversation. I'm going to give Student Body a D. Kind of an awkward letter to give it, given all the vagina talk, but here we are. But that is just me. What do you guys think? Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe to this channel to stay up to date. New videos coming real soon. Stay safe. Thanks for checking in.